Let me start with a question that might hit a nerve. Have you ever been in a room full of people, but the loudest voice in the room was still inside your head? Not your friend, not your mama, not your ex, not your boss, your mind. That voice that replays old mistakes like a broken record. That voice that tells you you're too much one minute and not enough the next. That voice that drags you back to things you already survived. And sometimes, if we're honest, the mind don't just talk, the mind bullies. So today I want to ask you something real. When was the last time you set a boundary with your own thoughts? Because if you don't, your mind will keep running your life like a dictatorship while you're out here calling it just being realistic. No, baby, that's not realism. That's emotional abuse from the inside. And day 12, we're ending that. Hey, my beautiful people, welcome back. We are on day 12 of this 28-day self-forgiveness journey. And listen, I don't take it lightly that you're still here because showing up for yourself this long, that's commitment. That's courage. That's healing in motion. Today's episode is called Boundaries with My Own Mind. And I know some of y'all like, how do I set boundaries with something that lives inside me? We're going to get into that because self-forgiveness doesn't just mean forgiving the past. It means forgiving yourself daily for being human. And you can't do that if your mind keeps holding court, bringing up your worst moments like evidence in a trial you already served time for. This episode was inspired by one of my hardest realizations. Some of the cruelest things ever said to me were things I said to myself. I used to think healing was only about cutting off toxic people. But baby, what about the toxic thoughts? What about the inner voice that keeps you chained to shame? By the end of this episode, you're gonna learn what mental boundaries really are, why your mind needs limits too, how I had to confront my own inner bully, and practical steps to start protecting yourself from yourself. Let's go. So what does boundaries with my own mind mean? It means you stop letting your thoughts talk to you any kind of way. It means you learn how to observe thoughts without obeying them. It means you create an internal line that says, you can visit, but you can't live here. Because thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are not prophecies. Thoughts are not commandments. Thoughts are often old programming, fear trying to keep you small, trauma echoing, memories with a megaphone, shame wearing your voice. And if you don't set boundaries with your mind, you will live your whole life reacting to thoughts instead of choosing from truth. Let me say something loud. Your mind is a powerful tool, but a terrible master. Your mind was designed to protect you, not to parent you, not to punish you, not to define you. So why does this matter so much for self-growth? Because a mind with no boundaries becomes a prison. And some of us are living in a jail that doesn't even have bars, just thoughts. Let me ask you, what happens when we ignore this part of ourselves? When we don't check the inner voice, we get stuck in cycles like overthinking, self-doubt, anxiety, self-sabotage, perfectionism, shame spirals, replaying old failures, living in what if. We become our own enemy. And I know you're tired of that war. Let me bring you into my own mind for a minute. There was a season where my mind felt like a courtroom. Every night it would line up my mistakes, like witnesses. And the judge was me. I would replay the past like it was happening again. What I said, what I didn't say, what I should have done, what I should have seen, who I let in, who I trusted, how I acted when I was hurting, and I would punish myself over and over and over. I wasn't just remembering the past, I was living in it. And the wild part, on the outside I looked strong, but inside I was exhausted because I couldn't outrun my own head. I remember one day I was getting ready in the mirror and I heard myself think, you always mess everything up. And I froze because I said it so casually, like it was just true, like that was my name. And I had this moment of clarity. Hold on, would I say that to somebody I love? No, never. So why was I letting my mind say it to me? That's when it hit me. I had boundaries with people, but none with my own thoughts. I would cut off a toxic friend quick, but I was letting toxic inner dialogue live rent-free in my spirit. And once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. That was my transformation moment. I started noticing the patterns. My mind wasn't telling the truth. It was repeating old wounds. My mind wasn't being realistic. It was being afraid. My mind wasn't helping me grow. It was keeping me stuck in shame. And I realized shame is not discipline, shame is destruction. So I had to learn a new way of relating to my thoughts, not fighting them, not believing them, leading them. And baby, that changed my life. Because the moment you stop letting your mind be mean to you is the moment you start healing for real. All right, let's get practical because I never want to inspire you without equipping you. Here's how you start setting boundaries with your own mind. Step one, catch the tone. Start listening to how your thoughts talk to you, not just what they say. The tone, do they sound like compassion, guidance, truth, or do they sound like punishment, humiliation, hopelessness? Because truth corrects you without crushing you. Shame crushes you. So today I want you to notice, is my inner voice helping me grow or making me hate myself? Step two, name the thought. When something harsh comes up, don't drown in it. Just name it. I'm having the thought that I'm not enough. I'm having the thought that I ruined everything. I'm having the thought that nobody will stay. That small shift matters because it reminds you, you are not the thought. You are the one noticing the thought. Step three, challenge it with truth. Ask, is this thought true or is it familiar? Oh, some thoughts feel true just because they've been around a long time, but familiarity is not accuracy. So replace the thought with something honest and kind. Example, thought, I'm a failure. Truth, I failed at something. That doesn't make me a failure. Thought, I'm too much. Truth, I'm not too much for the right people. Thought, I'll never change. Truth, I am changing right now by noticing this. Step four, set a limit. This is the boundary part. When your mind starts spiraling, say, we are not doing that today. Like you're talking to a child who's about to run into traffic. Firm, loving, clear. You can even visualize a stop sign because some thoughts don't need discussion. They need dismissal. Step five, redirect your mind. Your mind needs somewhere to go. So redirect it to breath, to prayer, to a grounding exercise, to a journal, to a walk, to present reality. Anything that brings you back to now. Because shame lives in the past, fear lives in the future, but healing lives in the present. Step six, speak to yourself like you're someone worth loving. I want you to practice this daily. I'm human. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm still worthy, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Say it until your spirit catches up. Here's what changes. When you start putting boundaries on your mind, you stop spiraling so fast. You feel the thought come, but you don't fall in the hole with it. You learn to be the observer, not the prisoner. You start forgiving yourself in real time. Instead of waiting until you're better to be kind, you practice kindness while you're becoming. That's self-forgiveness in motion. You protect your peace. You realize peace is not just about your environment. It's about your inner climate too. You trust yourself more because every time you interrupt a shame thought, you prove to yourself, I will not abandon me. That rebuilds self-trust. Now let's talk pitfalls. Pitfall number one, trying to silence every thought. No, you're not trying to become thoughtless. You're trying to become choosing. Pitfall number two, confusing harshness with growth. A lot of us think if we're not hard on ourselves, we'll never improve. That's a lie you inherited. Growth comes from truth plus compassion, not self-hate. So let's wrap this in something you can hold. Day 12 is the day you realize your mind needs boundaries too, because not every thought deserves a seat at your table. Not every memory deserves your attention. Not every inner voice deserves your obedience. You are not here to be tormented by your own head. You are here to be led by truth, love, and healing. So here's your day 12 affirmation. I am not my thoughts. I am the one who chooses what I believe. I set loving boundaries with my mind. Say it again. I am not my thoughts. I am the one who chooses what I believe. I set loving boundaries with my mind. You don't need a perfect brain to have a peaceful life. You need a brave heart that won't let shame drive the car. And you've got that. My love, thank you for being here today. If this episode helped you put language to your inner battle, share it with someone you care about. Because somebody out there is thinking their harsh inner voice is normal and they need to know it's not. Make sure you follow the podcast so you stay on this journey with me. And for deeper resources, tools, coaching, and support, visit https://www.wayofthewiseold.com. I love you. I'm proud of you.